Welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about Harry. Okay? Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a hard doing to the wannabe queen. That's what we're going to start calling her. The wannabe queen. You know, he thinks that he can make that happen. Can't wait to see. Can't wait to see for Queen Elizabeth. That's been sitting on a throne for over 70 years. At this time, she is the longest reigning monarch in history of their throne. This kingship, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not just meaning like from Queen Victoria's, starting from her and that. No. Everything that I've been able to find, it's from the beginning of time when the throne for Great Britain was made into existence. Okay? Queen Elizabeth II is the longest reigning monarch in it. Ever. Okay? Now, there's something else that needs to be celebrated. Prince Charles. Not that many people want to look at it, but he is actually the longest heir apparent in waiting. He's only been outlasted, not outlasted. He's only been one other heir apparent, and what that means, it's like waiting, king in waiting. It sounds morbid to say it that way, but that's basically what it is. He is a king in waiting. Okay? But, his, the long, next to him, there's Prince Charles, and then there's, Prince Albert Edward, I forgot his last name, but it was Queen Victoria and Prince Albert's, oldest son, that he was heir apparent for, I want to say, 60 some years, or I know he was up there a good, at least 50 years. I'll put it that way. I'll try to put in the exact number. If I remember to, I'll put in the exact number that it was. But, yeah. Prince Charles holds the longest reigning heir apparent. But you know what? I gotta give it to him. Maybe behind closed doors, he's like, I can't believe this old biddy's still living or no. But he's right out there trying to make that change. He don't let it say, oh, I'll just wait until I'm king to make a change. No. And from what I have found out, everything, let me just say this, everything that I say in this video is my opinion. Okay? Mine and only mine. You probably see thunder and lightning behind me because it's storming here in southern Arkansas. So, you'll hear lightning, thunder, see it too, because I got my windows open. I love, I love when it rains. But, uh, yeah, he talks about climate change. He talks about, uh, gone green. He talks about, like, replanting. What you take out of the earth, you put back in. You know, but he got that from his father. He got that from his mother. Uh, they just don't go out and talk about it. But yeah, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, did, in some cases, talk about it. Talk about his legacy that he was leaving his family. But on the overall, no, they don't. And he didn't. It's, they let their work show for itself. Okay? Now, that's like William and Kate. You know, people say, oh, they're the lazy royals. I don't see where they're the lazy royals. You know, for a good while after him and Kate got married, William was holding on 2 jobs. You say, well, what do you mean? He don't work. He never worked. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he did. Excuse me. He got permission from his grandmother to be an air ambulance rescue operator. I believe I'm saying that correctly. What he would do, he is licensed and what was licensed and trained. Now remember, both, I gotta say it, both Harry and William, I don't know legitimately. All I've been able to find out what Harry is. The public is told, yes, he did, you know, pass all these all these tests and everything. He is licensed for it. But then there's others that was there with him that said no, he didn't. He didn't pass. He actually had others to take the tests and to do all the work and pass. And then when that paper came back, the paperwork that he needed to go get the actual, like, hardship license or however it is, the paperwork come back in his name. But I don't know. Okay? I can't say yes, that is true, or no, that ain't. I have also had others to say that, like when he was over in Afghanistan, when Harry was over there, that the reason you never seen him actually in the air fighting like we would see the other soldiers, and this one for Andrew too, is that they actually wasn't certified and trained. Harry and, if I'm not mistaken, Andrew, both of them, they were like backup gunnery pilots or something like that it was, but they were never able to handle the controls of the airplane. or the whatever kind of aircraft that they were in, they could just be like a emergency certification type thing. Don't ask me. I don't know. I'm not from over there. Because to me, in the U.S., what I understand of it, each person that touches them controls, unless it's like life and death, and you're trying to save the whole plane, and you're the only person that's able. What I mean by able is like conscious able, you know, got working hand and eye coordination type thing going on, you know, you know, they have to be licensed and certified to fly an aircraft. There ain't no emergency backup license or anything like that. We just got the pilot's license. That's the way I understand it. Now, if it's not, please drop it in the comments below and let me know. Because I like to understand things like that. So, but yeah. And he was like, okay, I might not can go to active war. Because from what I understand, he understands, hey, look, I am the future, and I am very quickly the future of this country. So he was able to understand that and to say, okay, I can do this, I can't do that, type thing. Harry, as he was famously quoted growing up, he didn't have to be good. It was okay. He could do whatever he wanted. Because he wasn't going to be king. But you know what? He got a hold of somebody that's what she wants. She wants to be queen. And it started before him and her got married. And he is going right along with it. But it's not going to work. It's like that famous, well, now it's become famous. When they were saying about the crown, or the tiara, or how you say it, that she was supposed to wear at the wedding. You know, she wanted one specific one. She wanted it when she wanted it. She wanted it how she wanted it. And because they were telling her she couldn't do it, she couldn't have that one, he goes ballistic telling everybody Megan gets what Megan wants. And that's how it's going to be. The queen put her in her place very quick. So now, this is a little, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. Harry and Meghan and the Markles, they are working together to take down the royal family. They think if they cause enough controversy, if they make such great allegations, like they said about the baby, Archie. Now, I'm fixing to say something here. It's just my opinion. There's a lot of people out there that says, no, I'm wrong. But I don't believe there is such person as Archie or a Lilibet. There's only one Lilibet in this world. And when her head goes 6 feet under, there won't be another one. Because that's only the Queen. That's only Harry's grandmother. I do not believe at all that there's 2 kids that live with them. I don't even believe that they live together. After she seen that he didn't have the pull that she thought he had, then it was like, bye-bye, but I'm not getting a divorce from you. Okay? It was, I'm going to stay married to you, and I'm going to keep taking all the money that comes in, all of the little perks that comes with it, well, not little, big perks that comes in with being part of the royal family, but I'm not going to be with you no more. Because you do not have the ability to give me what I want. The only one that has that ability wouldn't look twice at her. Wouldn't even look once. He tried to talk to his brother to slow him down. That was William. That's why all them rumors with Prince William cheating on Meghan, on Kate, or with Rose Hanbury, or however you say her last name, but with Kate Middleton's close friend, when all that came out, because he wouldn't give her the time of day. He would not put her in the place that Princess Diana held. True enough, when Princess Diana died, she was no longer married to Prince Charles, but she was still the mother of future king. She was still known as the Queen in Waiting. Harry couldn't give her that. Harry couldn't put her in that place. So they started with the babies. First, they messed up with Eugene. They messed Eugenius, wasn't it? I believe it was Eugenius. The first York sister that got married. Okay. Now, Harry, he's a 37-year-old man. He has been in the royal family all of his life. You cannot tell me that this person that was born and raised into a certain culture, a certain tradition of life, does not understand proper etiquette or what their proper etiquette is. Okay? Now, people say, well, it ain't nothing to announce a baby, having a baby at a wedding. Well, stop and think about it. They done took her wedding date. They done took her wedding venue. Okay? Now, the only thing that they wasn't able to take was the tiara. And when she found out that the York sister was going to be able to wear the tiara on her wedding day, that they told Megan she could not use, she could not have. She lost it. She told him, she said, I'm going to do something to really take the spark out of her day. Because I'm the only one that's supposed to have anything, any media coverage, anybody looking to, oh, look at Megan, look how glamorous, look at her. No. Honey, you know better than that. You're from the U.S. Actors, actresses, all your industry or your former industry, you're a dime a dozen and a day late. You couldn't get into a show, an actual show, series for the United States. The only reason you were in the series Suits was because of your husband, your second husband. Okay? That's right. 2. The producer was her second. The first one, she threw away like a dirty little secret. Like a dirty little Kleenex after she used him. She didn't get what she thought she got. But little did we know, it's not confirmed or confirmable. Okay? But I have seen in a couple different places, I'm not going to say where, but it's unconfirmed, that the only reason she married him, the first one, in college, was because she was knocked up. Hey, there ain't no shame in that. None at all. If that's the way you want to play it. This is the 2000s. Women can be out there just like men can. But if you don't want to be with somebody, regardless of a baby or not, don't do it to them. Don't do that. Tell them, say, hey, look, this is what it is, this is what it ain't. You want to work out something? We can do that. But, no. in the same places that said about that marriage was also talking about that pregnancy ended in abortion. She didn't even tell him. Okay? And there was so many. She's had like 5 or 6 abortions. Now this is just unfounded. I cannot prove it. I'm just telling you about the information that I've found. Okay? And I believe it. It's my opinion. But it's up to you guys to search out your own research. Okay? I'm just saying what's out there. That's all. So, when they say about Archie and Lilibet, I don't believe it. Because, from my understanding, 1, maybe 2, you're lucky if you get away with it without no major trauma to your body. Okay? But to have as many that has been said she's had, alright, you cannot walk away from that without some kind of trauma to your reproductive system. It's impossible. I mean, any woman will tell you having a baby does trauma. More or less having abortions. I'm just saying. You think about it. Okay. This video is just a big hodgepodge of everything that they've been doing. Here's another topic. How do you think that when they walk on the field or wherever they go for this, what they call it, for the soldiers, like it's kind of like a, wait a minute. Let's see. And Megan New Bells. What do they call that? It's over into this year. They're having it in Netherlands, I believe. Yeah, over Netherlands. It's a Invictus Games. That's what it is. I just had to Google it. The Invictus Games. I mean, these are fellow soldiers now that they went to war. Now, I've heard, and there's been quite a few of them say it, like they've been on interviews saying, and it's other soldiers, fellow soldiers of Harry's, has said that he never seen battle. He was stowed away in a cozy little bunker somewhere that anytime anything would happen, nothing was going to happen to him. Because he was the Queen's grandson. Okay? He was second in line to the throne. Remember that. So, he started this Invictus Games under Queen Elizabeth's name. Yeah, it says Harry's. Harry started it. But major things like this, they have to clear it through the Queen. Or the Queen Council, or something like that it is, but and it goes through her. Everything that they do pretty well goes, she has the final say so about it. Okay? So, he starts this under her name for her military. For first few years, he does wonderful with it. I watched about it. I'm like, you go. Which I knew that they kept him secluded, but not as much secluded as it actually was. Okay? But still, I said, he was there with them. He seen what they went through. So, he was doing something to bring awareness, to help bring awareness that this actually does happen to fellow soldiers. You know, that we need to recognize and, in a way, hold them up. More like a celebrity to a point than put them down, you're no good, like they did back into like the Vietnam War, when the soldiers came home to the United States. They had a very, very hard time coming back home and going back into normal society, because normal people that wasn't there didn't understand how and what these soldiers that was over there went through, what they did, how they survived. You know, they could sit down all day long and say, yeah, we got up, you know, we done this, this, and this, and then at this time we had to go around, whatever. They could have laid it out, but we couldn't have understood it. The actual fear and the actual panic they lived in. You know, shows like MASH and different shows that showed, or they tried to portray that time of life. In a way, they did, but they didn't. No. And see, that's why I thought it was good when Harry started the Invictus Games, because he's seen the the things that they went through, how they went through it, what they had to do to survive through it all. Okay? But now, in these last 2 years, since everything's been going on with him, it's like he's turned the, not just his military career, not just his family, not just his queen and grandfather Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, his mother and father, all of them, into laughing jokes. He's disgraced them. And you know what? When he walked on stage, let me say this, when they walked on stage here in the U.S., in New York City, a couple months ago, and it was to give out awards to the military. You would have thought, but here again, this is how it is. Most people would say that, yeah, he's not from the United States, but he is a fellow Army veteran. He's a fellow veteran soldier of any branch of any country. They are brothers in arms. Let me just say this. That's the way my grandfather was. He was like, I don't care if they're French, British, German, American, Spanish, Japanese, whatever. He said, as long as we're not at war, he said, he looked at us one day and he said, you know what? He said, I gotta stop saying that. His kids asked him, he said, what do you mean? He said, that part where it says, as long as we're not at war. He said, because you know what? When he was behind them enemy lines, trying to save his countrymen, his brothers that he brought over, that he was not going to leave behind enemy lines, he said he had a whole lot of them people that he was at war with to help him. He said you'd be surprised how many of what they call the enemy would help him sneak our American soldiers out of their camps. Your POW camps, and I don't even know what all they call them. Okay, so I've just heard like the POWs and things like that. But he said, you would be surprised. He said, and it wasn't, well, let me just help, like, do like a trick to, oh, I'll help you, and then once they got your confidence, they got your, your trust, then they lead you into a trap. He's like, no, because they won it over as much as we did. See, that's why I started watching, and I started really paying attention to the Invictus Games. because my grandfather, on my dad's side, he was a Green Beret. He was dropped behind enemy lines. We don't know how many people, American and foreign, that he rescued. When my grandfather died, he had 3 sons living. Okay? When they went in to look through his personal effects, like his army papers and all that stuff, my grandmother, she kept a record of every time she was informed my grandfather was declared dead. She kept a record. Not only the telegram that the chaplain and the army officer would bring to her, they would also issue her a death certificate. And this is the crazy part about it. She'd get them all together, she'd staple them together, and she had them in order. And I asked my dad one day, I said, well, how many was there? He said he quit counting after 25. He said they asked their dad once. He said, why did you keep going? He said, because that is what you do. You do not leave a fellow soldier behind enemy lines. You don't leave a fellow soldier fallen on our soil, more or less, somewhere else. He said, and if I could help get someone else out of that kind of situation, he said, I'm going to do it. And he did. So when I seen Harry start this game, this is like the Olympics, but it's for fellow Army veterans that was injured. And my grandfather had, in the midst of one of his rescue missions, he actually had a Jeep roll over on him 5 times. Like, each time he think he was clearing it and get him. Crazy, but it happened. He survived it. He was meant to come home and be home and finish help raise his children, but yeah, he had like PTSD. He died actually from a aneurysm that he got from the Jeep, but it was over 20 years later. It killed him 20 years later. Nobody knew it because he would never tell. The Army knew it because they had to have it in his records, but family didn't. So I was proud of Harry. I'm like, you go, yes, you support. Just because you wasn't able to get out there and do what you thought you wanted to do, you were still there. You were still able to to be part of that world. And then you came home and you gave them something else to help bring them back into the in the community, into society, to help ease them back in to normal life. But how do you think them soldiers is gonna look at Harry? Because you know they watched him on Oprah. You know that they've heard him on the Dak Shepard program. You know that when he's been with Oprah on the other things, the other programs he's done with her. Do you think they're going to say, yes, come on, you can be our mascot? No. They're going to do to him the same thing that our soldiers did to him. That was to tell him to get his backside out of there, because he did not deserve to be there. It was not his place to be there, and they did not want him there. Now, you might say, well, they wouldn't do that. Nah. Sorry to tell you, they done it once. Right here now, in New York City, the John Bon Jovi asking to do a award ceremony for soldiers. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. He went in. Now, she wasn't supposed to be there. It was just supposed to be him. But which, I mean, I guess I can see in a way that part of me says, yeah, you know, it was okay that she tagged along, because other people had dates. But then there's another part that says, no, you know, like, hey, look, you need to, even though you're married, give them a little bit of space. It's just me. That's just the way I am with my husband. But, you know, when they walked in there, it wasn't hi conversation like the receiving line's supposed to go. Was nothing but what they wanted their photographer to get. The second that was done, they wanted to move to the next way that they could get their photo ops and then leave. Now, what's supposed to happen when they go into this Invictus Games, you're supposed to be putting that on Netflix. And you tell me, is that celebrating someone, your fellow soldiers, or is that trying to make a buck off of them? You tell me. That's why I believe. That's why he didn't go to Prince Philip's memorial back on March 29th. Because he could not bring his photographers. He could not bring this whole big crew that he wanted to. So he wasn't going. He says that it is because of security. Now you tell me, Copenhagen, I believe is the name of the country that they're going to be in, and the Netherlands and all that area. Um, you tell me, they got crime, and I'm not putting down no countries, but this is what I did not notice until just here recently. I watched a video of what's her name? Uh, According to Taz, I believe it is. I believe that's her name. And she's actually a UK citizen. She lives right there in Great Britain. Um, and they was talking about the lawsuit. That Harry is suing his grandmother and his father and his brother over security. Now, over here in America, we're more, what do you call it? Free, liberal, free to own guns. Okay, there is some people that can't, but the majority, if you want to, you can. All right, I don't hide it. I'm a gun owner. My kids, my husband, they're avid hunters. They love to go hunting. Here in about a week, we're fixing to pull out, go turkey hunting. You guys will be getting some from the woods. But so I don't even think about it. To me, when you say about owning guns or a firearm or any kind of weapons like that, to me it's just part of everyday life, you know. But she was saying over there, they don't carry guns. They ain't allowed to have guns or firearms in their country. You say, well, what about the police department? That's what I ask. And she proceeded to say that not even all the police officers have firearms. They just don't need them. She said, now there is some, but they have to be, I guess the best way I can describe their training is like, in our country we have what they call snipers, sniper task force, where like say somebody's holding somebody hostage and the normal police officers can't get close enough to the building, but they have another building or something where they can get a clear shot through, and they call in this team to help extract the hostage. Well, you have to be trained and certified like that over there before you're allowed as a police officer to carry a firearm. And then you do not walk the streets, or as they say, walk the beat, or however you want to say it. I'm not for sure what the Great Britain's terms are, but over here we would say you couldn't be on the streets. Now, you tell me, which is more dangerous? The United States or London? You know what? Let's see here. Yeah, let's see here. Well, what I am seeing here is that Los Angeles is 380,000, and the London is 120,000. The difference in their crime. But like I said, it don't matter. To me, I guess maybe it's because I live here in the United States, and I've seen quite a bit in my 43 years of life. I've seen it go from, when you get up in the morning, as a child, you could get up in the morning, eat breakfast, go out the door, not come back in until dark, and your parents wasn't worried to say, where are you at? Or you gotta come check in now. No. When I was growing up, you didn't have to do that. And I lived in the middle of a city. So, that'll tell you something. And you say, well, what city did you live in the middle of? I lived in the middle of Hot Springs, Arkansas. The natural park here in Arkansas. That's where I grew up. Right downtown. Okay? But I also lived through the riots in LA. I've lived through so many crazy things. And it seems like it's all crime related. Just look at what happened at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. And that was over some idiot person. Yeah. Come at me if you want. Trump was being an idiot. If he didn't think it was done right, there is a whole lot of ways he could have went about that. But he didn't. He stirred up violence. It's the right way. So yeah, I think America's a lot more violent than England. But I love the fact it's a split thing. I love the fact that in my country I can own a gun or I could bear arms if I want. But I also think that it would cut down on a whole lot of crime. A whole lot of law enforcement and citizen clashes if the police department didn't have it. Well, you say, well, if citizens got it and the police officers don't, Not saying that the citizens should have it. If one group of people don't have it, the other group of people shouldn't. Okay? But I started this video out for this fact right here. How can Harry, I'm not even going to go with her. I'm not even going to go with Megan. Just going to him. How can he go to represent something and to stand up and say, yes, I'm doing this under my queen's name. I'm doing this under my grandmother's name. How can he do that when all along he's tearing it down? You can't. You cannot do it. Because if you do it, you're going to be called out. It's just it.